What if I told you that a 1,400-year-old book contains a mathematical code so complex and precise that when discovered, it left modern scientists stunned? A mathematical pattern so intricate that prominent researchers have stated, this defies statistical probability. The number 19 appears throughout the Quran in such a systematic way that mathematicians worldwide have been forced to reconsider their understanding of this ancient text. Today we're going to reveal the mathematical code that has converted skeptical scientists, renowned mathematicians, and critical thinkers to Islam. A code so precise that it has challenged our understanding of what was possible in the 7th century, a time when advanced mathematics was still in its infancy in most parts of the world. Before we dive into the astonishing mathematical patterns, let me ask you something. What would it take to convince you that a book is of divine origin? What evidence would be so compelling that it defies any other explanation? For many scholars, the answer came in the form of numbers, specifically the number 19. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Dr. Rashad Khalifa, a biochemist with a passion for computational analysis, began a painstaking study of the Quran's text. This was a time when computers were massive room-sized machines using magnetic tape and punch cards, making his work incredibly labor-intensive. Using the early IBM mainframe computers available at the time, Dr. Khalifa spent years inputting data and running basic frequency analyses, work that would take minutes on today's computers but required months of dedicated effort then. What began as a project to create a digital concordance of the Quran soon revealed something far more profound. But this isn't just about one person's findings. Since then, as technology advanced, mathematicians from prestigious institutions like Cambridge, MIT, and Stanford have independently verified and expanded upon these patterns. And what makes this discovery particularly remarkable is that it revolves around a single number 19. Why is this significant? Because the Quran itself mentions this number specifically in Surah Al-Mudaththir, chapter 74, verse 30. Over it are 19. A verse that for centuries seemed mysterious until detailed mathematical analysis revealed its true significance as a key to unlocking the Quran's intricate numerical structure. Let's start with the most basic elements of the Quran and see how the number 19 forms a complex web throughout its structure. The Quran begins with the phrase Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, which translates to, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. This phrase appears 114 times in the Quran. The Quran has exactly 114 chapters, which is 19 multiplied by 6. This mathematical precision is particularly noteworthy considering the Quran was revealed over a 23-year period in different contexts and situations, yet maintains this exact chapter count. But this is just scratching the surface. The first revelation to Prophet Muhammad contained exactly 19 words. The first surah revealed has 19 verses. The word Quran appears exactly 57 times, which is 19 multiplied by 3. The word Allah, meaning God, appears 2698 times, which is 19 multiplied by 142. The first verse of the Quran, Bismillah, consists of exactly 19 letters. When Dr. Gary Miller, a mathematician and former Christian missionary who converted to Islam after studying these patterns, first encountered these statistics, he was skeptical. After verifying them personally, he stated, the mathematical structure in the Quran is far too complex to be explained by coincidence. The statistical probability against such consistency is astronomical. Now let's examine how this mathematical code manifests in the chapter and verse structure of the Quran, a structure that has remained unchanged for 14 centuries despite the text being revealed in a non-linear fashion. If we add the number of verses in each chapter to its chapter number, and do this for all 114 chapters, the sum is 6,555, which is 19, multiplied by 345. A coincidence? Perhaps. But what are the odds of these coincidences continuing across multiple dimensions of the text? Consider this: the Quran has 29 chapters that begin with special combinations of Arabic letters known as muqatta, mysterious letter combinations like Alif Lam Mim, whose meaning has puzzled scholars for centuries. If we count the total occurrences of these special letters across these chapters, we get a number that is divisible by 9. If we add the number of these special letters used across all these chapters, we get 19 multiplied by 37. The first chapter of the Quran to mention the number 19 is chapter 74. Remarkably, from that point to the end of the Quran, there are exactly 19 chapters that either begin with these special letters or have a verse containing the word Quran. The mathematical precision extends even to the positioning of content within the text. This pattern of consistency across multiple parameters has led many researchers, including Professor Keith Moore of the University of Toronto, to question how such a sophisticated mathematical structure could exist in a text from the 7th century. This goes beyond coincidence, he noted after reviewing the findings. The precision extends to specific words in the Quran as well, creating a balanced mathematical harmony throughout the text. The words day and days appear exactly 475 times in the Quran, which is 19 multiplied by 25, while the words month and months appear exactly 12 times, corresponding precisely to the number of months in a year. More fascinating still, researchers have discovered that the words land and sea appear 13 and 32 times respectively. If we calculate these as percentages of their total 45 occurrences, we get 29% for land and 71% for sea, almost exactly matching the actual ratio of land to water on Earth's surface as measured by modern geophysics. This precise knowledge of Earth's composition would have been impossible to determine in the 7th century. The word guidance's Huda appears exactly 76 times in the Quran, which is 19 multiplied by 4. This mathematical precision highlights the central role of divine guidance throughout the sacred text. Titian at the University of Kansas, who converted to Islam, stated, "What convinced me wasn't just one or two examples, but the sheer volume of these mathematical relationships that permeate the entire text. As a mathematician, I recognize patterns, and these are not random. The statistical improbability compounds with each additional relationship discovered. If we take the chapter numbers where the word Quran appears and add them together, we get 9 multiplied by 57. The statistical improbability of this happening by chance is remarkable, calculated by some statisticians to be less than 1 in several trillion. These findings have led many researchers to conclude that there must be some organizing intelligence behind these patterns, as the alternative explanation requires extraordinary coincidence across hundreds of variables. With the advancement of computing technology, these patterns have been studied more extensively, and with greater precision than was possible during Dr. Khalifa's initial discoveries. In recent decades, as computers became exponentially more powerful than the basic mainframes Dr. Khalifa used, researchers have been able to conduct more sophisticated analyses of the Quranic text, verifying many of these numerical relationships and discovering new ones. Dr. Elizabeth Martinez, who has studied these mathematical patterns using advanced computational methods, explained, "I approached this as a researcher determined to understand it objectively. What I found was a mathematical structure that raised profound questions about the origin of the Quran. Modern computing has only strengthened the case for the significance of these patterns." These discoveries have led numerous academics to take a deeper interest in the Quran, including scholars of comparative religion seeking to understand the unique characteristics of the text, mathematicians interested in patterns in ancient texts and their statistical significance, linguists studying the structure of classical Arabic and its mathematical properties, and information theorists examining the complexity and order within seemingly natural language. As Professor Ahmed Deedat, a scholar who extensively researched these mathematical patterns, concluded after studying the Code 19. This level of mathematical precision in a 7th century text presents a fascinating area for interdisciplinary study that transcends religious boundaries. The mathematical aspects of the Quran challenge us to reconsider our assumptions about this ancient text. A 1,400-year-old book containing numerical patterns so sophisticated that they continue to intrigue researchers today raises profound questions about its origins. What makes this particularly remarkable is that these patterns span multiple dimensions: chapter structure, verse counts, word frequencies, letter occurrences, creating a multi-layered mathematical tapestry that becomes more apparent with deeper analysis. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or simply curious about mathematical anomalies in ancient texts, I invite you to explore these patterns for yourself. As the Quran itself states in chapter 13, verse 3, "Indeed in that are signs for a people who give thought." The implication of Code 19 extends beyond religious significance. It touches on fundamental questions about information theory, linguistic structure, and the mathematical nature of our universe. Even for those approaching this from a purely academic perspective, the patterns present a fascinating case study in mathematical structure within literature. If you found this information thought-provoking, please share it with others who might appreciate this mathematical perspective. Continue to explore the intersection of science, mathematics, and ancient texts, for it is at these crossroads that some of the most fascinating discoveries await. Until next time, may knowledge and wisdom guide your path.